सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ we'll chant 3-4 verses at least together. Verse number 7 onwards. I will chant the 7th verse first by myself, and then second when I start, that you can join me for the second time. And then onwards we'll do it together. Come on. Ajya dharaya srotasa samam sarala chintanam viralatah param. Start. Ajya dharaya srotasa samam sarala chintanam viralatah param. Bheda bhavanat sohamityasau Bhavana bida pavani mata bhava shunya sad bhava sustiti bhavana balat bhaktiruttama rutsthale mana swasthata kriya bhakti yoga bodhascha nishchitam Vayurodhanat liyate mana jala pakshivat rodha sadhanam chittavayavas kriya shakhayor shakti mulaka laya vinashane ubhayarodhane Layagatam punar bhavati nomrutam prana bandhanat leedamanasam eka chintanat nashametyada eka chintanat nashametyada karturajnaya prapyate phalam Karma kim param karma tachadam karma kim param karma tachadam. We saw last time there is a very thin difference between laya and vinasha. Laya vinashane ubhaya rodhane. There are two states of the mind. When you start mastering the mind, when you start working with the mind, you can attain two types of states, two categories. One is laya, and the second one is vinasha. Laya vinashane, ubhaya rodhane. These are the two states of the mind that one can attain. He says, Layagatam punaha bhavati no mrutam. The layagata, the mind that has attained the status of laya, comes again. But na mrutam, the mind which is dead, the mind which is destroyed, mind which is totally annihilated, it doesn't come again. What does it mean? We saw last time. It is, teacher is not talking of total annihilation or total destruction of the mind, because that is not possible. What if you destroy the mind? If the wise person has destroyed the mind, then you cannot conduct any kind of vyavhara. You cannot conduct yourself in this world. Destruction of the mind means the fellow becomes mindless. It becomes as though a person is in coma permanently with open eyes and open senses. So he explains, what is laya? Laya is like absorption in the sleep. Okay? Mind sleeps. All memory, when you go to sleep, all your memories, all your desires, all your ambition, all your pain, all your knowledge, everything is back to seed form. Like when the baby is born, everything is in a seed form. As the baby grows, it starts expressing its likes and dislikes. Therefore, they call it terrible two. When baby is two, it shows clear preferences, clear liking and disliking for certain things, because then the thing starts manifesting. So also when you sleep, things are in a seed form. That is called laya. What is vinasha? An enlightened mind is vinasha. What is enlightened mind? The mind that knows that it is mithya. The buddhi understands that these thoughts, knowledge, whole process, the seer, seen and seeing, everything is mithya. When that is ascertained, then that is called vinasha. And when you know mind is mithya, that means the ignorance, self-ignorance is removed. When the self-ignorance goes, how do you know mithyatvam? It is simple. Please understand. What is satyatvam? Taking myself to be mind. That is satyatvam. And that is true. You take itself to be real. And what is mithya? You know the mind to be drashyam. Like taking myself to be body is satya. What is satya? That is, what is ignorance? Ignorance is to take myself to be body. That is mithya, knowledge. What is satyam? I recognize the fact that I am different from this body-mind complex. Mano buddhi ahankara chittani naham nacha shrotra jihve nacha granane. Discover that and then function. Continue. That is called vinasha. I would use this word, you have a cognitive space within. Understand? Cognitive space. I am not talking of physical space. I am not talking of emotional space. You know, people After 25, 30 years of marriage, also tell them, please give me some space. That is not that I am talking. What I am conveying is cognitive space. That space is lost. That is called adhyasa. That is called identification with physio-psycho-complex. That one discovers, that is a vinasha of the mind. Okay? There is no physical vinasha, but discovering yourself to be different from mind, physio-psycho-complex, and owning up yourself to be the consciousness, that is called nasha of the mind. And that mind, punar na bhavati. Punar na bhavati means what? It is the nature of ignorance. Once it goes, never comes back. It is the nature of knowledge. Once it comes, never goes. So, vinasha of the mind. How to do that? That is talked about in next two verses. We said last time, we will see that. Look at this. Look at the verse number 14. Pranabandhanat lina manasam ekachintanat nashametyada. Come on, start together twice. Pranabandhanat lina manasam ekachintanat nashametyada. Pranabandhanat linamanasam ekachintanat nashametyada. Pranabandhanat means through the process of pranayama. By pranayama, what happens? Linamanasam. Pranayama leads to absorption of the mind. Momentary absorption. And then he says, but how do you destroy the mind? Eka chintana. By eka. Eka here is in sense of non-dual. Thinking of non-dual. Doing atma vichara. By knowing the self. One, by eka chintanat, by knowing the self, nasham eti adaha. Adaha means that mind, nasham eti. It is destroyed. Which mind? That means what? That mind which was problematic mind. That mind which was causing unhappiness and sadness and limitations. That mind comes to an end by eka chintana. Now, here, Ramana Maharshi, 2-3 things I would like to add here, says that one should do eka chintanam, means atma vichara kartavya. But he doesn't say how to do, Now this is a very confusing thing, especially in Hindus, amongst Hindus. Some of them don't know this. Some of them, most of them don't know. That you need to know the self to gain moksha. Problem is not somewhere outside. You have the problem. There is a small booklet that 2 talks Swamiji gave that was converted into a book. You are the problem and you are the solution. That is a fundamental problem. They don't know. And those who know, those who talk Gita, those who talk about Upanishad, those who have some knowledge, I don't know whether to call knowledge or not, that self-knowledge will cook the goose of Ahankara. They have lots of confusion about self-knowledge. When it says Atma Vichara Kartavya, or when the Shruti Vakya is there, Atma Vare Shrotavya Mantavya Nididhyasita. Vichara Kartavya or Shrotavya means from a teacher. One has to study this from a teacher. then I have to add, traditionally there are two adjectives to the teacher, but I have to add one more. One, two is from a teacher who is Shrotriyaha. Shrotriya means who has studied Shastra. And then Brahmanishtaha, who himself knows what he or she is talking about. It is not indirect knowledge. The person has gained that particular as aparoksha gnanavan. And now you have to add this one more. You have to learn from a traditional teacher. Nowadays, there are new paramparas, new traditions. It's so disgusting. Usually, I have this problem, Okay, whenever I travel, I am usually, not travel in general also, I am a face in the crowd. Therefore, I have no social account and I don't market myself on social media much. Practically nil. So people don't know me. So when you're traveling, they ask you, which dharma? Konsa dharma mein ho, Maharaj? And if they know I am from Gujarat, then I don't answer this question. No? Because it's a wrong question. When he asks, I understand his level. I say, why waste time? So I just keep quiet. Then that fellow himself gives option. Swaminarayan. And then they will do like this. Swaminarayan. As though prompting you to say yes. Like those laughter shows, the background, they throw laughter. So that you, please laugh, please laugh. They cannot say, but want to make you laugh. Then I just stare at that person. ISKCON वाले हो क्या? दूसरी गाली. Then they will say, Rajneesh वाले हो क्या? All he starts. And end of it he says, Hindu हो क्या? A colossal ignorance about our religion, about our Vedic Dharma. There is only one tradition, Vedic tradition. Please understand, when I say traditional teacher, I have to say this because only traditional teacher be Shrotriya. Shrotriya means one who knows how to communicate. How to communicate involves two things. What not to say, that also teachers should know. And whatever he says, he gives a clear meaning and makes sure that there is no doubt or confusion left. Why I say what not to say? Quite a few so-called modern acharyas keep talking. But then they talk, they just keep using some adjectives and adverbs. Our consciousness is bliss and bliss is limitless and limitless is free from any kind of limitations, all kinds of words. You have to communicate. What do you mean by limitless? What do you mean by bliss? What do you, even they say Atma is a Sakshi. Everybody uses this. What Sakshi? It is not Sakshi. But they say, then teachers unnecessarily using adjectives. Some of the Mahatmas in Hindi belt keep using 5-10 adjectives. Every third sentence is full of adjectives. Doesn't communicate. It may inspire. Teachers should know what not to say and what to say, and when he or she says, he conveys the exact meaning. That is Shrotriya Acharya, traditional teacher. And he or she himself knows this as an aparoksha gnana. So one has to go to that teacher to understand Shastra. Two reasons. You cannot study by yourself. Again, two reasons. to understand the Shastra. Any word, I have told earlier also, in Bhagavad Gita itself, the word yoga is used in different contexts, meaning different things. Today, when you say yoga, in fact, it is not yoga, is no more yoga, it has become yoga. Okay? When you say yoga, that means that is again has a different meaning today. It is not Ashtanga yoga. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. I am doing yoga. Means what? Asana Pranayama. Asana Pranayama. That's all yoga is. And which asana and which pranayama, that is also question. Anyway, coming back to this, in Shastra, the word yoga is used in a different context to mean differently. First of all, it is not to mean our Patanjali yoga. First, one should know. Secondly, it never talks of Patanjali yoga. Secondly, at the end of every chapter, there is a word yoga. First chapter is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Second is Sankhya Yoga. Third is Karma Yoga. Fourth is Jnana Karma Sannyas. Like that goes on. There, the meaning of the word yoga is nama. That is a predominant subject matter. When you say third chapter as a Karma Yoga, it is not only Karma Yoga that is talked about. The knowledge is also talked about. Brahma Vidya is also talked about. But then it is predominantly they are talking like this. Therefore, it is called as Karma. In the 6th chapter, there is a very oft-quoted verse. Tam vidya dukkha sanyoga viyoga sangnita. Dukkha sanyoga viyoga yoga sangnita. That's viyoga is sangnitam yoga. Viyoga is called yoga. And just few verses later in the same chapter, he says, Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna sukham vayadi va dukham sayogi paramo mataha. He says, one who can empathize completely with all other human beings, every living creature, that highly empathetic person is a great yogi, Bhagavan says. Empathetic person. Then again he says that to see sarva bhutastha atmanam sarva bhutani chatmani pashyati yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshana. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam chamai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachamena pranashyati. He says, who sees himself as a self of all living beings, all sentient beings, and he sees the all sentient being within himself, that is yoga yukta atma. He is endowed with yoga, and that is samadarshana. That is the meaning of the word yoga. What I am trying to convey here is, in different contexts, the meaning is different. Every time, contextually, meaning differently, the word is used. It is true for all Shastra. So one needs a teacher who knows the right context. Because when you start yourself, because you have to see the context in the holistic picture. All the 18 chapter, when you have the picture of all the 18 chapter, then you can fix up each chapter in it and each verses in each chapter. As they say, there should be ekasutrata. There should be oneness in your interpretation all throughout from one to last. And if you study yourself, you can't make it. So you need a teacher who has this. But how did the teacher get? his teacher gave me. Just as I cannot get it independently, so my teacher, so I need a teacher who has a whole vision of whole. But how does he have the whole vision of whole? Because he too cannot get it independently. Who gave him? His teacher. But then, who gave his teacher? His teacher. Ultimately, it goes to Narayana. Ultimately, given Swami Dayanji would say that when he said something, the first teacher got it. He said, one fellow got up and he was making a joke or story and said, Swamiji, as per the Darwin theory, we have come from chimpanzees. Swamiji would say, yes, it looks like. When I look at it, it looks like. So that first teacher should be chimpanzee. Even chimpanzee also had a teacher. If this is true, he cannot get it by himself. Ultimately, you have to stop at Narayana. Okay? Who got it? Narayana got it. Narayana revealed to rishis. And rishis passed on to another shishya and their shishya, and it has come to us. So you need a teacher. Ekachintanam means you have to do Shastra Vicharaha, inquiry into Shastra. You have to study the Shastra from a competent teacher. Competent means traditional Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru. Because Shabda is a Pramana. When there is a question of self-ignorance, you cannot find the self. Why? The very seeker is born out of denial of the sought, that is you. It is exactly like our good old story of 10th man. The search for the 10th person begins when there is a conclusion that 10th is lost. That conclusion, that other side of this statement or other meaning, synonym of this statement is, I am not the 10th. Then only the search starts. So the denial of the sought is there. And there is a seeker that is born. Technically speaking, the seeker is superimposed on the very sought itself. Adhyaropita. It is like the snake. Superimposed snake goes out to look for a rope, but you already are the one. 9th man, the 10th man is searching for the 10th. You are the 10th man. And in that case, when this is something called as praptasya prapti, what you have to gain is already gained. In a simple words, if I say, the happiness that we are seeking all along is you. But I seek happiness with a conclusion that I am most unhappy. That I is looked upon as unhappy, not simply unhappy, the most unhappy amongst all the person I know. There is nobody unhappier than me. They will say, I have a very, Swamiji, they tell me also, Swamiji, you don't know, I have a worse problem. Nobody has. I tell you, nobody can take this. Indirectly glorifying themselves. I only can take on so many dukkhas. I am the most dukkhi fellow. That's all conclusion. Seeker denying the sought, the person will never find. You need someone else to tell you that you are that. Shabda is a pramanam. And the vastu that is talked about, Atma, is beyond the scope of the words. So you need a teacher who can communicate these words and communicate the vision through implied meaning and knocks off the notions, the confusions that one is carrying about the self. And then he conveys what the self is. That teacher alone can make the student see the truth which he or she is seeing himself. Therefore, one has to go to a teacher who is Shrotriyaha Brahmanishtaha. And then, having gone to a teacher, you need to ask for the knowledge. It is there for asking. Mokshecha is to be there, and with mokshecha, when it is told, moksha is there, and the competent teacher is there, the knowledge will be upadekshanti te gnanam gnaninas tattvadarshina. Teacher will teach. Here, let us look at few popular beliefs about the self-knowledge. That is what people think, you know. As I said, one cannot have this knowledge without Shastra, and the Shastra through the teacher. You cannot study by yourself. Shastra is a pramanam. Vedanto nama Upanishad pramanam. Upanishad is a means of knowledge. But you yourself keep reading Upanishad will not enlighten you. You need a teacher to unfold the words of the Upanishad. Now the popular belief is, some people say this, that so many great people, great Mahatmas, didn't have a teacher. We have not come across about that any kind of writing about themselves, about those Mahatmas, when they went to a teacher and got the knowledge. So you don't need a teacher. They say, Atma Deepo Bhava. May you be the lamp for yourself. And they say, I never believe in teacher. But this Jaggi keeps blabbering like that. Independent thinking. Independent thinking can give you some psychological insight. But it cannot give the self-knowledge. Because the thinker is the self. You have to discover the fact. How can you independently know? He keeps advocating. And there are so many Mahatmas. We had one, Sachidanandji, here in Gujarat. He always talked that one should not have a teacher. Develop rational thinking, blah, blah, blah. And now he repents. He personally repented. So, and they say Ramana Maharshi also did not have a teacher. Why should I seek a teacher? Listen. These are exceptions. Don't make them rule. Narsi Mehta was exception. Mirabai was exception. Ramana Maharshi was exception. Tulsidas ji was exception. And I would say, those of you, most of you since know Pujya Swami, he was an exception. All these Mahatmas have had the teacher in previous lives, and this life also. But they did not require so much of teaching as we require. Exactly like, a typical Indian home example. When they buy some pickle or some liquid which has a sugar in it, and then sometimes the lid gets jammed. You cannot open it. The lady of the home tries to open. Doesn't open. Then she calls husband. He tries. Doesn't open. Then they call the younger daughter. She was here helping mom. She tried. Didn't open. The older brother tried. Young guy, teenager. He tried. Didn't open. And in the home, his brother's son, younger one, 10-year baby boy was there. And he tried and opened it. That doesn't mean that 10-year boy can open. All of them, whatever efforts all of them put in, it did move. But unfortunately, they left at the nick of the thing. Just needed a little effort. Then you open it. Or our typical Bombay chapati coconut. When you go and buy a coconut, and you say that you want to drink here or take home, then you say take home. They have a huge knife and he chops off. You cannot cut the coconut, green coconut, but he chops off and just leaves a little thin layer. You just push in your tablespoon and it breaks. You don't need the knife at all. Similarly, these Mahatmas whom we think never had a teacher, they were like this coconut. They were like that bottle. Purva Janma Samskara was so much. They just needed few few teachings here and there, and it made them see. When I say Swami Dayanandji, I have known this from horse's mouth and his mouth. He never has studied the Shastras that he taught us. This is a mystery, for me. When it is said, he did study somewhat public talks, Gnan Yajnas from Swami Chinmay. Then he was wandering all along and he stayed at Rishikesh. I have heard from his mouth so much of confusion because nobody taught him about Shabda Pramana. He thought if Vedanta is a Pramanam, then why should I meditate? Everybody talked about meditate and realize. And he had spent sleepless nights. You buy that book and there is mention there. Finally, one Swami in Gudivada, in Andhra Pradesh, Swami Pranavanandji talked about Pramana. And that clicked him. That made the whole thing so clear. And then he was in Rishikesh for some time. And then he was, as the historians say, he was studying Shastra at Kailas Ashram through Taranand. Pujya Swami Taranand, some of you might have seen him. Swami Taranandji went to Himalayas at very young age. He knew only two languages, Hindi and Sanskrit. Didn't know alphabet E of English. His life was so simple, Thanks to Corona, what's a simple life? Now people have understood that you can live without so many things and without doing many things also. You can survive and happily survive, And that too with your spouse. That's a great discovery for many. They kept fighting all the time and now they discover. It is like somebody sent me a WhatsApp, like American child writing to his friend. Hi, his girlfriend, he writes. Nowadays I am staying home because of Corona. My family members are really nice. It's a good discovery. They seem to be good guys. So, thanks to Corona that you discovered that good guys are along besides you can survive. Anyway, it was so simple. He used to cycle the distance between Haridwar and Rishikesh in those days. Just take a cycle and go. He didn't know where America is. When Swamiji started coming to US in 70s, and then he said, "Kahan ja raha hai Dayanand ji?" The typical style. Hardly uttered few sentences, never uttered sentence, just half words, etc. Kahan jate hain? America jate. America kahan aaya? What do you answer? Maharaj ji, America us side aaya. Us side matlab Bengal side, Punjab side. He didn't know. He knew a few words. Then literally, we had to bring a globe. In Rishikesh, we had to go to book stationers, school stationers, get a globe and explain him, this is India and that is America. So nice. What a life. And there were only 4 students studying from him. And one of them was always sleeping. Swami used to quote that. ये सुनने की very quiet, very composed. He never get angry, never. So once he got irritated, then he said, ये देखो, ये सुनने की बात है, सोने की नहीं है. That's all comment. Sunne ki means this is something to be heard, and sone ki means not to be slept over. That's all. This is to be heard. Listen, what communication must have taken place, Bhagavan only knows. He often talked in Hindi. And Swamiji used to say, Hindi aati hai, Hindi aata hai. He never knew much of Hindi. And he knew English and Tamil and then Sanskrit and a little Sanskrit. He also knew fairly well, but hardly communicated in Sanskrit. Still, he studied a little bit of Brahma Sutra. But then we see Swamiji has taught all kinds of Shastras with Bhashyas. Taitriya, Chatusutri, Mandukya, Karika, and all kinds of things. Brudaranyaka, Chandogya, and then all Prakaran Gathas, Dragdrishya Vivek, and this Panchadash, Tattva Bodha, and all this revealed, Shastra revealed. He just needed a little bit of teaching because of Purva Janma Karma. Tatratam Buddhi Sanyogam Labhate Paurvadehik Yatate Chatato Bhuyaha Samsiddhau Saha He Kurunandana. 6th chapter, there is a discussion. So they don't need teacher means you cannot say they don't need teacher. They have some teacher, but they didn't require much of exposure to the teaching like us. One thing, just little exposure to Shastra, and Shastra revealed to them. Bhashya revealed to Pujya Swami, and the truth became so clear to them because they were ready, like that cut coconut. You just need a tablespoon to push in, and the lid is broken, and you have the coconut. Secondly, they say, no, you should become thoughtless. And they say, see, this is what improper teaching is. This is what I said, you should not use the word which is not required, unnecessary adjective. So commonly used, deep meditation. They ask, when you go to yoga camp, I never go, but I go to inaugurate those camps. And then you have to stay there for a day or something out of just achara. And their agraha, Swamiji, you come and please stay with us for one full day. And then you do some yoga and meditation. And then they ask, how was your meditation? Then everybody says, I was in deep meditation. I have a question. Before I understand deep meditation, let me know what is shallow meditation. Because it is opposite to deep. When you know shallow, then you will appreciate what is deep. And deep means how much is the depth. You can measure the depth of water. You can sometimes measure the depth of the knowledge when you know something, some subject matter. But then meditation, how do you say? They say, you should. And then again, they try to become too poetic to their meditation, And then they say, I've seen people talking like this, They close the eyes and they say, like sit and look up, and then tone changes, and then dive deep into within. As though there is some diving involved, as though some deep involved. And this mystical, they create unnecessary confusions. This is all teachers should never use. Anyway, they say in In that deep meditation, you will see the self. And often considered by many, the deep meditation is state of thoughtlessness. You give up the thought. You give up the thought, and then they say, when you give up the thought completely, Atma will surface. Atma will manifest. Swamiji would call it as submarine philosophy. Like the submarine coming to the surface, Atma is under the water, under the thoughts, and you give up the thoughts. That is like drying the riverbed or drying the lake. When the lake dries up, all the things, the stuff that was thrown it, it becomes vivid. So Atma surfaces. This is not tenable. I'll tell you one thing. And then they say, this is samadhi. And thoughtlessness is samadhi. Now this, and the samadhi is moksha. Look, this thoughtlessness, you had an experience of thought. You had samadhi. But moment the samadhi is over, thoughts will flow. It's natural. Like I have seen in India, this was common in villages. Some yogis or some people, with some extra power, pranayama used to come, and they used to ask them disciple to bury them under the ground. There would be pit. They will advertise that. They will sit in the pit, and it will be covered from the top. 1 day, 2 days, 7 days. But the moment they come out, the breathing starts. Why? To breathe is involuntary. You make it voluntary to stop sometime, but as long as the prarabdha is, breathing will be there. As long as you are alive. That is, being alive is called as prana dharana. As long as you hold the prana up and down. Similarly, as long as you have prarabdha, moment you come out of that samadhi, there will be thoughts. And if the thoughts covered the Atma, again Atma will be covered. So you were muktaha, free in the samadhi, moksha, then again you are in bondage. One. Second problem. Suppose in a samadhi you saw the Atma. Oh, I saw the self, bliss and ocean of bliss. This again they use the word ocean of bliss. I don't know why ocean. You should say space of bliss. That's right if you want to use the adjective. Ocean is limited, space is limitless, and the bliss is limitless, if you say so. Anyway, ocean of bliss I experienced. If you saw, if you experience, then what you saw is an object and you are the subject. That means the Atma that you saw is an object Atma. And the fellow who sees is a subject, that is I. And the translation of I in Sanskrit is Atma. So Atma, so Atma. How is it possible? You cannot see it as an object. And third, listen this carefully. Another confusion. People say Atma is Sakshi, and there are a lot of camps are going on. For what? Sakshi Bhava. This make you sit for 1 week in Sakshi Bhava. Just sit there and keep watching. Keep watching. Close the eyes. There is a back pain. Be Sakshi. There is a perspiration. Be Sakshi. Then you sit in a Sakshi Bhava. And then they say, that is you. Atma is Sakshi. That is you. This is also equally nonsense. There is some truth in it. Atma is Sakshi, and that is you, but not the you. That Sakshi, listen this carefully. The vision of the Shastra is, I am Sakshi, all right, but the Sakshyam, that what is witnessed, is non-separate from. When you say Atma is the Sakshi, that it becomes one of the thing, witness of many. So what? But it is one among the many. It is different. Then there is a duality. Shastra says that Sakshi is non-dual, is Purna, and that what is witnessed doesn't have existence independent of Sakshi. I am Jagat Karanam Brahma. Yatova imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanta visampishanti. That is me. I am the cause of Jagat. I am the sustainer, dissolver, etc. That limitless consciousness, Satyam, Gnanavanantam Brahmahamasmi. And the whole world, the entire world is superimposed on me, the consciousness. That you need to study Shastra. The teacher, you need to have a teacher who can unfold this vision to you. Make you see as a daylight seeing as this astamalakavata, seeing something in a daylight, sunlight, something in your palm. It is so clear that should be seen. So that meditation is useful, but then giving up the thoughts will never lead to enlightenment of yourself. It may lead to quiet mind. It may gain you some togetherness, some composure. You may feel happy. You may feel relaxed. But that's not enlightenment. That enlightenment happens is Eka Chintana. Last time also I had told people work to eliminate the thoughts. People try to arrest the movement of the prana. Thereby they arrest Shakhayor Dvai Shakti Mulaka, like the two branches of the same stem. When they arrest the movement of the prana, they arrest the speed or direction of the thoughts. That's fine when they do that. But then what happens when they do this and they feel they are come happy, you are in peace? That means what? The mind was causing problem, and the quiet mind is now helping you to discover peace. In either case, you are giving reality to the mind, reality to the thoughts. Understand? The mind cannot touch me. Every thought is nothing but superimposition of name and form on the consciousness that is me. It's not separate from me. At the same, mind cannot remain separate from me. At the same time, I am not affected by it. These two are very contradictory statements. Mind cannot be separate from me. And I am not affected by mind. If it is not separate from me, if the mind is disturbed, I should be disturbed. Like the child, suppose a woman carrying a baby says, baby is not separate from me. But the baby gets sick inside, she is also suffering. Similarly, mind is not separate from the consciousness. Then the mind is suffering, then you should be suffering? No, I am unaffected. That means what? In which way it is not separate from me? Mother and a child are two independent entities. Here, that which is superimposed thing cannot be separate from the substratum, and still the substratum remains unaffected by the superimposed. A movie in a theater, it is nothing but the play of light. It is only one light. Because of the reel, traditionally, nowadays different computer software copy, but because of the reel in between, the hero, the heroine, the villain, the garden, the car, the parents, the house, everything. The fire there, the floods, everything is nothing that in the 3-hour movie is separate from light. But light is unaffected by any of them. If there is a fire, the fire cannot burn the light. If there is a floods, the water cannot wet the light. And if there is earthquake, a lot of destruction took place, but nothing happens to the light. Understand? This is called Nainam Chindanti Shastrani, Nainam Dahati Pavakaha, Nachainam Kledayantyapaha, Nashoshayati Marta. Light can say, nothing, says no weapon can kill me, cut me. Nainam Chindanti Shastrani, Nainam Dahati Pavaka. No fire can burn me. No flash floods or ocean, a storm or a tsunami cannot wet me, touch me, unaffected. See, this is a very subtle thing I am talking. One need to discover that mind is mithya, superimposed. Every thought is a superimposition on consciousness. And you know that no thought is a problem. And because you know thought is mithya and the ahankara is also mithya. Therefore, we have a beautiful bhajan in Gujarati, Brahma lataka kare Brahma sa. That is nothing separate from consciousness. You can say light lataka kare light saath. Hero and heroine running in a typical Hindi movie in a garden running around. The hero always fails to catch the heroine. She is, I guess, must be Olympians. Must be state champion at least. Not country champion, but must be state champion. That this hero cannot catch her. And they have to run behind the tree. There is one form of the light. One form that is real Nama Rupa. Superimposed. Understand? Thoughts per se are not the problem. Giving reality to the thoughts is the problem. Ahankara per se is not a problem. Giving reality to ahankara is a problem. Ahankara is mithya. And the mithya ahankara is experiencing the mithya world, and then throughout that experience, through contact between ahankara and the world, there is an experience of sukha, dukha, love, happiness, jealousy, hatred, agony, all kinds of, all mithya. Gajopi mithya, dhavandapi mithya. Everything is mithya. And I am that consciousness. Mithya means everything is superimposed. I am the consciousness on which everything is superimposed. That is that knowledge. I call it as cognitive space. Understand? One who has this cognitive space, that is got layagatam punaha bhavati no mrutam. When you know I am that consciousness, this is all superimposed. There is no possibility that again, the word again, that you start taking yourself to mithya to be satyam. Exactly like we know having studied something in science, that sun never rises, sun never sets, earth is not flat, sun is not running around the earth. Even if it appears to be rising and setting, even when you say that it is rising and setting, it doesn't affect. Understand? This is cognitive space, and therefore he says, Ekachintanat Nasham. This is, I'm talking of at the level of reality. Unreality, when it is taken real, then you work on the mind to solve the problem. But Shastra says there is no problem. Look at the first verse of Gita. Ashochan anvashochasto. Ashochaha, there is no need to grieve. There is no cause for grief. And you are grieving. That means what you see as a cause of grief is mithya. Why are you grieving? Nanu shochanti panditaha. The wise men do not grieve. That is the message. And therefore it says, Ekachintanat nashame. Atma is never covered by the thought. Thought can never cover the Atma. No hero, no heroine, not even the ocean can cover the light. In fact, that thing is because of light. How are they going to cover? Its very existence is. It is like saying, my chain covers the gold. How can it cover? The chain is because of gold. My ring covered the gold. It can never cover. If at all ring seems to cover the gold, it is ignorance that is there in your mind covers it. Ignorance about the gold. You took the ring to be real. It can never. So, if this teaching will destroy the mind. Destroying the mind means destroy the reality given to the mind. Taking mind to be independent entity. And then a cause of all the problems. And then I'll become liberated. No. It is an instrument, useful. Wise man uses the mind thereafter, but as an instrument. It is not me. That is the difference. And therefore he says, Ekachintanat Nasham Eti Adaha. This mind, or that mind, which is a problematic mind. He thought, oh my God, I am so much stressed. This my mind, I don't know. That problem. You just, as they say, the problem in a flash. When you discover yourself to be the consciousness, the substratum of the whole blessed thing, that discussion comes after 2-3 verses. A lot of discussion, self-reveal. I mean, the knowledge about the self is talked about. We'll see more later. But here, I think this much is enough. We'll continue next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Guru Namaha. Harihi Om.